Okay, I'm going to say something incredibly shocking right now. I'm sure none of you have heard this already. This Jets team is not very good at football. I know, it's great. It's a hot take, but just hear me out. See what is going wrong. This team is really bad. I've already talked about it. I've already made a video, at least one video about it. I think I made 2 videos about it. I might end up making a 4th. Who knows? This is a really bad team, and as long as they continue to be one of the worst teams I've ever watched, I'm going to still continue having fun watching them, because you know what? I kind of love teams like this, to be honest. Let's just get into it. We're going to start from, it's really going to be sort of a breakdown of what went terrible against Miami. Miami did some things well. One thing they noticed very early on was that if they blitz, if they play like a cover 1 blitz, for example, there is a 0% chance the Jets can do anything with it. Like on this play, it's going to be a cover 1 blitz. And so for the Jets, what's a good play against, to counteract the cover 1 blitz? Well, you have a receiver run a route towards the sideline, deep route. Really, the safety doesn't have time to get there, and it gives your receiver enough time to potentially win his matchup and get open. This is, about as good of a route as you can ask for in this situation. Because watch, once this ball is snapped, you notice that, even against a decent secondary, Perriman is able to get open right here, and Flacco's going to try to make a throw to make this work. So, this is a good situation on paper. It's a good situation on practice. This is not an easy play, but it's a play that you expect to make with, some consistency. The problem is going to be that this is, 1, not a great throw from Flacco, and 2, Perriman just isn't the kind of guy who can win these jump ball situations, and watch how it's going to end up just getting knocked away. And that's kind of the problem with New York, is that when you play man coverage against them, no matter what they do, their best plays are they're going to convert 1 out of every 6 of them. And that's just really difficult to deal with. And really, you can't. You can't win like that. On one side, you might just sit here and say, well, hey, if they play man coverage a lot, you can just run the ball and try to have some success. And they were able to have a little bit of success running through the ball, relatively speaking. But they would still get beat pretty badly by a run defense that hasn't been the best. Like on this play, it's look at an interior defensive lineman going up against a guard. That's really the one matchup I want you to notice. Watch the domination that's going to happen right here. 62 has no chance of even surviving, and they're only able to gain a little bit on that one. Honestly, this isn't an exaggeration. When I was watching this game, I really do feel like Frank Gore did more than the offense gave him. This wasn't, the offensive line doing decent and Frank Gore just getting what it took. It was Frank Gore getting more than the offensive line gave him on a lot of these plays, which is just absurd that a running back who's currently 67 years old is able to do that. But it's not a great thing for the Jets. If you want to talk coaching, we can talk coaching. Coaching's not great. This play's a great example so it's man coverage. What do you do against man coverage? Well, you run some pick plays. You run some rub routes. You get guys, crossing each other. This is an example where, a lot of guys running over in the middle. This is the key way to beat this type of play. It's either this or deep routes on the sideline, and we know those aren't working, so let's try this. This is kind of the other way you can do it. And what's going to end up happening is that, so basically the key thing I want you to watch is the receiver who's currently lined up on the bottom of the screen, who's going to run over the middle to the top of the screen. His job is to try and get in the way of a Miami player. But it's worth mentioning that it is a penalty if you intentionally run into him. It's not a penalty if you're just running a route that happens to get in the way, but you have to be running your route. And once this ball is snapped, you notice he starts to run his route. But if you look, they're just not really exactly on the same page where, the Miami player is, who's really the one in the yellow circle. That's the one that 84 is going to try and run into. This is Ryan Griffin. But at the same time, you just can't make this play here because he would have to run so far over in the middle that it would be obvious that this is a pick play. And again, the rule is kind of, if you're running a route that seems like it's just a route you're actually designed to be successful, then it's fine. If you're running a route that's designed to get into somebody else's way, then it's not fine. And so in that gray area, that's kind of how you make routes work. But this is just going to be a hilariously bad attempt to, fake as though he's running his own route. Where watch how he basically just runs straight into him. That's basically a block. He's well past the line of scrimmage at that point. He's almost 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. So, you can only do it past 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. So clearly a penalty. And they get the completion, but only because there was an obvious penalty. That's just too easy for the refs to call. Just not a great play there by the Jets. This play is another great example of like why this offense just cannot work. It's again, similar play, cover one blitz. This is what Miami likes to do. And it's what basically everyone likes to do against the Jets because it's really effective against New York. But they have a player running over the middle. That's where Flacco is going to look. Once this ball is snapped, he is going to throw it in that direction. There is maybe a small window, but again, this is kind of the windows you get if you're the quarterback of the New York Jets. These are the windows Sam Darnold would get. These are the windows Joe Flacco would get. And these are the windows, if Patrick Mahomes was there, this is what he would get. And he'd probably be throwing interceptions. This one is going to be an interception. And again, like you could sit here and say, ooh, tight coverage, why are you making that throw? If he didn't make throws with tight coverage, he would never throw the football because there is no such thing as a wide open receiver for this New York Jets team. But okay, I have to talk about one more play. This might have been the best play in football this year. Easily my favorite. So what's going to happen is that this is going to be a blitz for the Dolphins. And so, for New York, the way they can pick it up is basically there's going to be a blitz in between their left tackle and a tight end who's blocking. And so there's no problem with that. You just have your halfback run over. He blocks the other Miami player. That's the way it's supposed to work. It's not going to work out well, as you see. Not a well-done block right there. 21 is creating immediate coverage to Flacco. So, for Joe Flacco, let's do a multiple choice test. If you are Joe Flacco here, what do you do? Do you, A, try to throw the football away? Do you, B, try to complete a pass over the middle of the field? Do you, C, just fall down and accept the sack? Or do you, D, run as far backwards as you possibly can? If you guess D, you might be an elite quarterback, as that's what Joe Flacco is going to do. He just runs straight backwards, tries to put on some moves, does not work out too well. That ends up being a 28-yard sack. Just fantastic stuff. I mean, this team is hilarious. They just are. I feel bad for a lot of the players because it's not really their fault. They're just not getting put in positions to succeed. You have a lot of guys, in the wide receiver room, guys who really should be good number 3 or maybe number 2 guys being asked to be number 1 guys in a lot of these plays, and it's just not fair to them to be doing that. I mean, you have halfbacks who should be depth guys being asked to be, starters. You have offensive linemen who should be depth guys who are getting asked to be starters. Or maybe, they should be like your 5th best guy on a line who can sort of just be the guy who keeps things steady, not someone who's supposed to be one of your rocks when really, it's just not a good situation. And I'm just talking about their offense in this video. Their defense isn't great either. Their defense isn't historically bad. Their offense is just abysmal, and it's not fair to these guys. And they're going to get blamed for it. But what are they supposed to do? It's not like they chose to have the team have no talent. Like if you get paid high money to be a number 1 receiver for a team, why wouldn't you do it? But Perriman isn't the number 1 receiver. So why is he running number 1 receiver routes? Well, because they don't have anyone else, because this is a really bad team. Again, the coaching isn't great either, but this talent is something else. So, it sucks for Jets fans. It's funny if you're not a Jets fan. We'll see if they can get a win, because this is one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.